Josiah T. Walls. Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about Josiah T. Walls and his contributions to society. Walls was the first African American elected to the United States Congress from Florida, and the state's only black representative. He was an African American soldier, teacher, and politician. He has the unenviable distinction of having been deposed twice in Congress by opponents who challenged the election. Still, he managed to serve 3 terms in the U.S. Congress between 1871 and 1876. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to ensure that you never miss a video. Birth: Josiah Thomas Walls, born into slavery in Winchester, Virginia, on December 30, 1842. He was suspected to be the son of his master, Dr. John Walls, and maintained contact with him throughout his life. Education: Walls briefly attended the Harrisburg County Normal School in Pennsylvania. Early work experience: his military career began when he was forced to be a private servant of an artilleryman of the Confederate Army, but Northern forces captured him at Yorktown in 1862 and emancipated him. Briefly attended the County Normal School in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. By July 1863, Josiah Walls was serving in the Union Army as part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment of United States Colored Troops based in Philadelphia. His regiment moved to Union, occupied northern Florida in February 1864. The following June, he transferred to the 35th Regiment USCT, where he served as the 1st Sergeant and artillery instructor. He was discharged in October 1865. But decided to stay in Florida, working at a sawmill on the Suwannee River, and later as a teacher with the Freedmen's Bureau in Gainesville. By 1868, Walls had saved enough money to buy a 60-acre farm outside the city. Married life: while living in Petaluma, Florida, Walls met and married Helen Ferguson, with whom he had one daughter, Nellie. Major contributions: as one of the few educated black men in Reconstruction-era Florida, Walls was drawn to political opportunities available after the war. Walls moved to Florida's Alachua County after his discharge from the U.S. Army and got involved in local politics there. After passage of the U.S. Military Reconstruction Act of 1867, Walls joined the newly formed Republican Party in Florida. He was chosen as a representative to the state constitutional conventions of 1868, and soon after that, he was chosen to serve in the lower house of the state legislature. In 1869, he was elected to the state senate representing the 13th district, which primarily included Alachua County. He was elected to the state senate and took his seat as one of 5 freedmen in the 24-man chamber in January 1869. Walls attended several national conventions to discuss issues affecting African Americans. Josiah Walls attended the Southern States Convention of Colored Men in 1871 in Columbia, South Carolina. Overcoming deep political divisions in the Florida Republican Party, Josiah Walls became the first African American to serve his state in Congress. Walls' 6-year tenure in the United States Congress was marred by controversy. He was the only black representative to be deposed 3 times. Walls was unseated twice on the House Committee on Elections recommendation in 1870, 1872, and 1874 by opponent J.J. Finley, a former Confederate general. Walls faced his former slave master and Confederate veteran Silas L. Niblack in a general election. Niblack attacked Walls' abilities immediately, claiming that a formerly enslaved person was not educated enough to serve in Congress. Walls responded to these allegations by challenging his opponent to a debate and speaking at political rallies in northern Florida. A bullet nearly hit Walls during one of the Gainesville events. He was elected. Walls was re-elected in 1874, but his opponent, former Confederate General Jesse Finley, challenged the results. Finley won the election after a recount. The subsequent African-American member of Congress would not be elected for 118 years until Carrie Meek in 1992, when he was not fiercely defending his seat in Congress. During his time, he contributed to the betterment of society as a politician, farmer, educator, landowner, and as an advocate for the welfare of his constituents. Walls fought for internal improvements for Florida. He also advocated compulsory education and economic opportunity for all races. We demand that our lives, our liberties, and our property shall be protected by the strong arm of our government, that it gives us the same citizenship that it gives to those who it seems would. Sink our every hope for peace, prosperity, and happiness into the great sea of oblivion. Wall was an outspoken supporter of a national public education system funded by the sale of public lands and universal schooling for all children. He also proposed legislation to help private pensioners and Seminole War veterans. He also backed policies that improved the economic conditions of all Floridians. Walls amassed a legislative record that included putting forth legislation in support of land grants to railroads and securing connections to ports serving Cuba and the West Indies. Walls also put forth ideas for strengthening the Civil Rights Act of 1866, life after public job. In 1879, he resigned from the state senate and returned to his sawmill, lettuce, tomato, and orange farm. Josiah Walls married his wife's young cousin, Ella Angeline Gass, after Helen Ferguson Walls died in 1885. Walls also served as mayor of Gainesville and on the Alachua County Commission. His passion and later his source of income was farming. In 1895, a hard freeze destroyed his orange groves and bankrupted him. He relocated to Tallahassee in 1896 to become the farm director at Florida A&M University. During his later years, Josiah's daughter, Nettie, who suffered from mental illness, was involved in an affair with a local pastor in Tallahassee. In 1900, Nettie became a recluse and would not socialize for extended periods of time. The minister eventually decided to break it off with Nettie, and she sought revenge. As a result of mental unpredictability, Nettie killed a little girl, Maggie Gibbs, the daughter of a minister. The child was found stabbed, shot, and stuffed in a closet at the Walls' home. She was subsequently sent to a state psychiatric institution in Chattahoochee, where she died after a short length of stay. Having lost most of his fortune and considering the scandal involving his daughter, Walls never recovered from these events. He was no longer active in the Masonic order and decided to forego any further political ambitions. Shortly thereafter, Walls died in Tallahassee on May 15, 1905, and was buried in a black cemetery in the city. Unfortunately, Walls fell into such obscurity that no Florida newspaper published his obituary. However, in 1905, a plaque of his service was placed on Northwest First Saint in Gainesville, Florida, and the local bar association was named in his honor. Josiah T. Walls. He was a major figure in black history, black politics, and the Republican Party. Our politics are history. If you like this video and want to learn more about history, please like and subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, and press the bell icon to be notified. Thank you.